there's so much more to us outside of our careers. So don't feel like there's something wrong with you. You have that vision, you have that push, that pull to do something different for a reason.
Welcome to Empowermente, the headquarters of personal empowerment, where I help first generation Latinas go from surviving to thriving. I am Gina Moreno, an engineer turned alignment coach, speaker, and content creator. After breaking into big tech and being part of the 2% of Latinas in engineering, I realized that success means nothing if you're disconnected from yourself. Now, I help ambitious mujeres build magnetic personal brands, step into public speaking, and build mission-led businesses while feeling good while doing it. Here we talk about the real journey of breaking generational patterns, sharing your story to finally being seen, paid, and fulfilled for who you actually are. You'll hear honest conversations, mindset tools, and stories of Latina empowerment, so you can grow with confidence, alignment, and corazón. If what we talk about today resonates with you today, this is exactly the work that I do with my clients inside my programs, from private coaching to next level Latina or my signature workshop. So grab your cafecito, amiga. I have mine with me right now. And let's dive into the conversations that will help you build a life, brand, and business that actually feels like you. Hello, welcome to Empowermente. I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited for you to listen to today's episode. This episode is with Marisa Lopez. Marisa Lopez is a first-generation Latina engineer and cycle breaker. For years, she chased the dream of an engineering degree and a secure job. But even after accomplishing that dream, she still felt deeply unfulfilled. And she knows she was made for more. She had this dream of opening up a hobby studio. So now, as a full-time engineer, she is learning to fulfill her vision and fill her purpose. Her mission is to empower Latinas of all generations to feed their soul and rediscover their childlike joy through crafts and movement, and embrace joy without guilt con mamás, abuelas, tías, and comunidad. So I've been working with Marisa for almost a year inside my program called Next Level Latina, and I've really have seen her go from 0 to 100. When we started talking, she was a little bit afraid of taking up that space in her dream because she thought that she had to quit her job and leave her career tomorrow, and she was wondering if it would be worth it, if she could do it, if her parents would still respect her. But she learned that she didn't have to do that overnight, and through this year, she has created a beautiful intergenerational community. She has hosted several events of like Zumba, merengue, crafts, and she has really not only found herself in her mission as a founder, but also like inspired so many people. Like they are demanding events from her every single week. And I'm just so happy to see her mission of creating a community come into fruition. And so I'm excited to share her story, amplify her story, and I hope that you could resonate with her. Yay, Marisa. Welcome. Happy Friday. I'm so happy it's Friday. It's been a long week. How are you?
Me too. I started my Friday off great with the early 5 a.m. morning walk with my mom. So I am outside looking at my front window at the blue skies. I'm also very happy it's Friday and to be here with you too.
Yes, thank you so much for being here and accepting. I know this is your first podcast recording of many, and so I'm honored to have you. I'm excited to amplify your story, share your story so other people can see what's possible. And you and I have a lot of similarities in the things that we experience as first gen and where we are now. So I would love for people to get to know you. So tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and then tell us later you can tell us what's moving you lately.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Marisa Lopez. I am a first gen Mexican Cuban American. I was the first in my family to graduate college and get the stable job. I am currently an engineer at an aerospace company, so I have my 9 to 5. And after graduating college, I think that's really when I started like my self discovery era, and that's where I really dived into myself, and through that exploration, I can now add an additional title. So I am the founder of Made of Más, which is an intergenerational community for women, and that's kind of been the newest thing for me here. And yeah, happy to talk more about it.
Sí, me encanta, me encanta. And I como que I think about the first time we talked, right? And to everybody listening, Marisa is one of my next level Latinas. She's part of my group program. And I was so moved why you wanted to do all of this in the first place, right? So from our first conversation, it first of all, like it just seemed something like that was really far away for you. But something that I noticed is that you were deeply moved by it. So I want to know like what inspired you to do this? Like what was the thought process behind it?
Yeah, and I guess like in your question, tell me a little bit about yourself. I should have also added that I am a Chiona, like I am very emotional and I feel very deeply. So throughout this conversation, I might get emotional because I am just so very passionate about this, as you've seen when we talked about it. So what what made me start this? What is the inspiration behind it all? I think really at the root of it, it is uh, so many things, but to list for one, it was growing up pretty much my whole life. My end goal was to graduate college and get that stable job, and I thought at the end, once I accomplished it, I was gonna feel amazing, like peak happiness, like wow, life can't get better. At least that's what it kind of seems like, right? And I that I do want to say like that wasn't really pushed on me from my parents. Like looking back, I'm like, why did I think this? Why was that like something that I wanted so badly? And I think it was really just the system, like what we grow up in society, like that's just what we hear is go to college, like you're in school, go to college, graduate, get that job. And I did that, and I got the stable job, engineer. Still, I'm very passionate about space, but after working in industry, I realized that like there was times where I would question like there has to be more. And I also wanted more for myself too. And I with thinking that, I started going like getting myself into like different trying different hobbies, different activities. I started traveling more. So I went to Japan, I went to Colombia, I went to like take hot yoga classes. I went and took a like kickboxing dance class, and that's where I really started to like tap into like my inner child and things, doing the things that made me happy, like dancing. I love to salsa dance. And as I'm doing all of these really fun things and I'm like lighting up, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is all these other parts of me that I forgot about that like I really enjoy. And as I'm doing these things, traveling, I think about my family, especially my mom. And I'm like, she she has done so much. My parents have sacrificed so much for me to be able to have the privilege to take a yoga class, to go traveling. And I think of them in those moments because I'm like, wow, this is so fun. And then the guilt hits of like, but they're not here with me experiencing this this joy, like this other part of life. And it's for them too. So that's where the inspiration of Made of Más came, because I learned so much personally by being curious about myself and understanding what fills my cup. And at the same time, I also wanted that for my mom. And then I started asking the question of why is this a problem? Why do I feel this way? It's because I don't really see spaces that are inviting for like women, older women like my mom, to go to do and experience the things that I've experienced.
Wow, yeah, that is so true, and I think it's a very common experience for us first gen when we reach a certain milestone of social mobility, and we have access to do fun things that we don't have to do. It's just fun, and it adds a lot of richness and fullness to our lives. And to realize that our parents, especially our mothers, did not have that opportunity, not just because of maybe the class that we grew up in, but also society as a whole, right? Like being frowned upon if you had a life outside of your children, or not prioritizing your children, or making them your everything and having no identity outside of that. I think that's also a big factor. So the fact that I think you were like, oh, I wish my mom was here is a very common experience. Like, como quisiera que ella pudiera sentir lo que yo siento. O sea, es como pensar como we are their finished project. You know, like they started something and they're not able to totally reap the benefits of it until us. So it's something like that only, first gen people can understand, que nosotros como que we're the product of all their sacrifice, and we get
Yes.
to enjoy it, and we get to enjoy life in a different way, in such a privilege. And it's sad to us because we're like, like I cannot bring this to you in the same way.
Yeah, no, I totally relate to that. And I have to try to put myself too in her shoes because I don't like I'm not responsible for her journey at the end of the day. Like I have to understand that. And I have to and not just like her journey but like everyone's journey, right? I am not responsible for that and I can't put that pressure on myself to force anyone to go and experience these things. All I can do is just create the space and kind of lead by an example and talk about it and invite like people to come and experience other things that they would have never thought were for them. And I like to think like I'm not a parent yet, but when I imagine that when I am gonna want more for my kids. And if I were to see them have more, like that's gonna just like, you know, fill my heart and that's good. So I think like, well, my mom is seeing that and she's like, I'm good. All I want is you to have like a good life and to do well and be safe. And she sees that and she's good. But I'm like, but there's more for you. Like there's more, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really resonate with that in my own story with my mom. It was really hard to accept that I couldn't make her happy, in the sense like I cannot take over and like give you all this happiness. And so I do think though there is like an in between where you can create the environment and lead by example with no expectations and just kind of invite them in, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I invite you in, and you can take it and do whatever you want with it. And I would love to hear what has your experience been, because for me, when I started my healing journey, my mom was right behind me. Like I didn't realize it, but then now I see her and I'm like, wow, you really embarked in your own healing journey, and you've evolved. And it's not that I'm guiding you, it's just like I kind of opened the path for you as you did for me.
Yeah, just opening up the possibility, just the thought of it. So for me it was how so when I would think all these things, like I'm taking a yoga class and I like oh like my mom would love this. Well, why don't I just invite her next time I go? And it's much easier that way because also coming from one of the things that I struggled with too after college was doing things on my own, like going to the grocery store alone, taking like these classes by myself. Like I was not comfortable with being by myself, and I thought like, well, that's probably how like a lot of other people feel. So it's a lot easier to invite someone to come with you to experience something. And if you do that, then you're both having fun and joy is just so much sweeter when it's shared. So I would invite her to go to this yoga class. I'd be like, I'm gonna go. Let me know if you wanna come so I can get your spot. Like I'm going. Like let's go. And she was always open to it. Like yeah, like I'm always like down for anything. Like I want to like if you invite me anywhere, you know, like I have time, like I'll go. So that's where it like started. Like we would take yoga, do like the yoga matcha classes together, and I would like look around and see like, well, this is more, these events are pretty much tailored to like women in their 20s, women in their 30s, and I didn't really see a lot of like the older generations having access or maybe feeling welcomed and invited to go to these spaces. So I think for me, my experience of, you know, inviting my mom to step in to like get a taste of what she was able to provide for me now that I have the privilege for these things, um, has been really, really nice. And she has like totally like leaned into it, which I'm very like grateful for. Like we've traveled to Hawaii together as a family, and yeah, we've done she's taken my kickboxing classes, and we walk together on Friday mornings. So it she's been yeah, it's been really nice.
Yeah. So in Made of Más, you have done a few community events already. You did a kickboxing merengue class. Ah, so cool. You did a crafting event, and then you've done, I believe, another wellness event. Tell me why, like, h- I'm trying to connect, like, your own journey and experiencing these classes and this space to get to know yourself in a different lens, and like the classes that you and or events that you host now. So what did those activities did for you in the past, and what do you hope that now that you're the host to for people to feel in your events?
Yeah, so like I said, in college, I didn't really do too much for myself. After I graduated is when I started, okay, who is Marisa? What does she even like? You know, I'm so much more than, you know, my academic success. That was one thing that I had to like change in my mind. And when I started to like realize that, I started going back to the things, asking myself, what is it that I really love to do as a kid? Because as a kid, I was just like free flowing, you know, and I wanted to like taste that childlike joy again. So I'm like, okay, dance. I danced all the time in my room by myself, like blasting the music. And I started to take salsa classes, and that's kind of where the kickboxing and merengue inspiration came, because I love dance, I love music, and that brings me so much joy that at the gym that I go to, they were offering kickboxing classes. So I had joined, and it was more like a Zumba. So they were playing like Latin music with kickboxing, kind of like Zumba vibes. And when I had walked into the room, it was filled with older women. I was the only one that was like in my 20s. And I was like, okay, like this is probably gonna be like a cool workout. No, it kicked my butt, but at the same time, I had a blast, and I felt my heart swell so big. And thinking about it gets me emotional, because in that moment, I seen a room filled with older women showing up for themselves, moving their bodies, and having a good time and smiling through it all. And that's what really like pushed me to like, why am I getting so emotional? Like why do I care so deeply about this? And it always like rooted back to like, this is important, this matters to you, you need to create this space for other women too. So it was through dance, like going back to what made me so happy as a kid and made me so excited and look at life through like that magical like awe lens, and finding this kickboxing class and Zumba really is kind of what it was like, and understanding that like the tias and the abuelas like know like what they're doing with Zumba, and it's an awesome way to like move and reconnect with your body and just have fun at the same time. So that was the inspiration behind hosting kickboxing and merengue events for Made of Más, is to just get women together to move either how I'm moving or move how they want. If they're gonna dance the whole time, I would love for them to do that because I'm gonna be resisting every second from dancing. And then the crafting stuff was, again, going back, tapping back into my inner child of like, I loved just drawing in like my journal, having broken crayons everywhere, the smell of like Crayola crayons, and just really, again, all going back to like inner child healing, really helped me get to where I am today too.
Hey, amiga, if this podcast is speaking to your soul and you're ready to step into the next level, here's how you can work with me. For personalized guidance, there's my private coaching program. This is where we go really deep. I'll hold your hand and walk beside you as you learn to own your voice, whether that means creating content that truly resonates with you to be magnetic, or finally share your story on stage. If you're ready to be seen and heard for the powerhouse that you are, this is the perfect fit. Now, if you're craving accountability and community, Next Level Latina is for you. So this is my signature group program that's helped women become way more confident, visible, and grounded in their experiences and who they are. Inside the circle, mujeres have gotten their first keynotes and gotten paid for it, their first workshops, their first partnerships and brand deals, and have launched offers and businesses that really reflect who they are. We dive deep into messaging, mindset tools, visibility, and transformational healing, because all of this comes from within. I'll guide you through the same lessons that helped me on my journey. And if you're not quite ready to that full commitment, I have a few workshops for you. One is called Book and Paid, which is a workshop where I teach you how to land and monetize your first speaking engagement. And number two is Magnetic Latina, Heal the Fear of Being Seen. This is a guided EFT session to help you unlock all of the blockers that you have about being seen and being visible. And finally, build a brand that feels authentically like you. You can find all the links in the show notes. So excited to hear from you and witness your own transformation. Because, amiga, you deserve to thrive, not just survive. Whether it's mindset, visibility, or strategy, there's a space here waiting for you. Yeah, it feels like those were different tools and experiences that helped you be happy again and be full and just experience the magic of life. And it's beautiful because I think it's revolutionary. One might say like, oh, it's just dance, or it's just zumba, or it's just whatever, but we are breaking cycles in real time. We've had so many systems for women of color, especially Latinas, with machista culture, where like they're not allowed to have like an identity, or be happy outside of like a man or like their responsibilities. So the fact that they're together, happy, dancing, o sea, en serio, is revolutionary y como healing different aspects of themselves that maybe they didn't have access to before. So I love that so much, Marisa. And I mentioned that you've come such a long way from even the first time that we talked. I think you can share, but like from what I remember, it just seems like back then you couldn't imagine doing anything outside your career. And you girl, you're in demand. People want classes for you every week. They want events, they want a piece of what you're building. And so I want to know what has helped you get unstuck. Like what helped you get unstuck from the beginning, when you were like, like I don't know, like I know that I want to do this, but it's just like I don't feel comfortable, or whatever it may be. What do you
Yeah,
feel you like? How
yeah,
did you feel, and what helped you?
yeah. From the very beginning, it's like I felt this tug, I felt this pull of like, I want to go do this. Like, I want to create something like this hobby studio, or this community, this space where women can get together and just try out a whole bunch of different hobbies and learn about themselves, because there's just so many layers to us, and I just want to help us pull back those layers. And so the vision was very clear. And where I was stuck was the identity of like, who who am I without the academic success, without the career accomplishments. Like, that's who I built my whole personality upon. Like, am I throwing that away? Like, who, like, I was very confused there, and I didn't think that I could be something or multiple things. That's really what it was. I didn't think I can be multiple things at the same time and do multiple things. And it wasn't until I, felt called, like you had your consultation, you were putting together your empowerment circle, and I had been listening to your podcast already since I believe it was like 2023. So it had been already a while that was following you, and I felt really like I resonated a lot with what you would talk about. So I took the call, and it wasn't until like I said it out loud and you told me you you can be multiple things. Like, you don't have to give up being an engineer to jump into this thing that you are envisioning. And that was life changing. That was life changing for me, because I also had the belief that not only like in what my career was, but that if I was gonna do something, I'm either all in or all out. Like, if I'm gonna do something, give it your 100%. And if you're not gonna give it your 100%, then don't do it at all. And I knew that so much of my time and effort was, going into like being an engineer. I had a 9 to 5. So much of my day was my job. Where am I going to find time to do this? Where am I going to find the finances? That was another thing, the limiting belief of like just financial scarcity. Where am I going to find the finances to open a studio? And that was really what had like opened the door to like, okay, I'm ready to, you're right, I can be someone outside. There's so much more to me outside of engineering. And that just opened the gate to like expose all the other mental barriers that I was just explaining. So I think that was just finding the right circle, surrounding yourself around people that believe and inspire you. um, and I think another thing that helped me was moving out of my parents' house, to just have my own space, to just let my creativity in my mind and like the way I express myself just come more freely. Um, and part of that was also just understanding more about like what makes me happy. And I think all of those things sort of like led to making the jump and actually taking action on Made of Más.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I love your journey. It's been so beautiful to see. Um Before we get close to wrapping up, tell me, I think it's been a year since we started working together, and you're now multiple events in. Like I mentioned, people are like, we want more Made of Mass, and we love it. So tell me, what has that been like to actually see your vision maybe not come into fruition the way exactly you imagined it, but same feeling, right? You were seeking that mission of like, I want women to experience this type of community. Tell me what that has been like now that you've seen it come to fruition.
Wow, that is such a heavy question for me, because it's a lot. And I think I'm still, after hosting 3 events, like, I'm still processing all of like the amazement and just excitement, and again just gratitude I have for being able to create the space and being able to use like my story and my past experiences to create this. Like, I think what makes this space so like special, and like what I'm doing, is that it's straight from my heart. And when I think about hosting the events, and when I look and I see all the women in the moment, I'm like very like shocked. I'm like, is this real? I'm kind of like in the moment. After the events, when I sit down and I have to like process it all, like what just happened, my heart feels like it's going to explode and then I cry. And I'm just so overly like I'm fulfilled. That's what it feels like. That's what I feel. I feel like I am living my purpose. Like it just feels so aligned and so right and so just natural, and it comes easily. Like I know I put in a lot of effort, but it just feels natural and it just flows easily, and all of the flowing is just love and appreciation and joy for being able to create and hold the space.
Yes. And I believe that that's what life is about. I was in a recent panel, and then they were asking me something about like como I don't remember. It was like maybe hard times, and then I was like, I'm not trying to suffer. I'm not trying to suffer. I've suffered enough. I'm good. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy, like our ancestors been through enough, and we are here to enjoy life. And so I love that you've been able to reach a point in your journey where like, oh my God, I love what I'm doing. This is an artful expression of who I am and my experiences, and I get to share that with other people, and people get to feel it too. So congrats. I am so happy for you. Before we leave, any last words you would like to share with anybody listening, maybe a Latina who's maybe where you were a year ago, that feels like her dream is too far away or too different from her current career? What would you tell her?
I would say, first of all, like it's okay that you feel that way. And actually it's not surprising. Like we're human. There's so much more to us outside of our careers. So it don't feel like there's something wrong with you. And secondly, you have that vision, you have that push, that pull to do something different for a reason. Like exactly same thing you told me is what I would tell them is like it's placed on your heart, in your mind for a reason. It's time for you to do it's time for you to act on it, and I think that it is by acting on it, it's a way of self-love. The way I thought about it is that if I don't do this, like I'm kind of like betraying myself. So love yourself by taking a chance on your dreams. Just be curious. Don't be afraid to entertain this vision, this idea. Like there's gonna be worries, there's gonna be doubts, but think the opposite of like, what if it all works out? What if you actually do end up getting, and you do actually have, um, you're able to bring to life what's on your heart and on your mind. Like think about that, and um, I think that's really what helped me get here. So I would just say that.
Yes, thank you so much, Marisa. Again, it's been an honor to work with you, to see you evolve, not only create something from 0 to 100, but also like experience your own transformation and what it took for you to just show up and say, like, yes, I'm Marisa, I'm the founder of Made of Más. It's an intergenerational community where we seek to discover childlike joy. And I hear you, so and I remember it. I'm like, I love that. So muchas gracias por decir que sí, like not only to work with me but also like to say yes to yourself and to create this.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this platform and being able to highlight my story and also highlight the work that you do. Um, I didn't mention it, but like I would say to the person out there is like if you don't know where you're going or you have thoughts about it, like find a support system, find a circle, find a coach, find yourself a Gina. Like find yourself a Gina. So
Sí,
thank you, thank you.
sí, me encanta. All right, bye y'all, thank you so
Bye. Thank
much.
you.